Welcome everyone to another Wednesday night, the fundamentals to gain inner peace with your host, Coach Menachem. We're doing tonight class number 93, and I want to welcome you all, welcome the newcomers. Join us on this journey. If you're here the first time, it's never too late. And we have all the recordings available, menachembernfeld.com. You can get the recordings and be part of this journey. Feedback, questions always welcome. You can send them to coachmenachem@gmail.com. And let's get started. Okay, so before we start, I know it's 2 days before Rosh Hashanah and then everybody's busy. And while you're busy, taking some time off, just for a few minutes, not for too long, a few minutes to breathe, a few minutes to be there for yourself. So here we are. Let's get grounded. Take a deep breath. Just become aware of where you are, where you're coming from, what your day looked like. Especially now, busy, very busy time for many. And then we turn inwards just to see how we feel. Whatever you're feeling, wherever you're feeling, if it's your shoulders, you can let them drop. Beautiful. And we can do a very simple breathing exercise that we've done past few weeks. 2 weeks ago, we discussed it. The equal breathing, the same amount of seconds in, the same amount of seconds out. And just find your flow, whatever works for you. 3 seconds in or 4 seconds in, and whatever it is, the same amount out. So here we go. Do whatever works for you. Take a deep breath. Beautiful. 3 times, even 3 times can make a difference. You can start feeling a little bit of tingling, just some relaxation that we all need. Okay, so I'd like to spend just a few minutes tonight before Rosh Hashanah getting ready. And the first step is just awareness, becoming aware of where you are. Everybody has different feelings. Everybody has different thoughts, different way of preparing. You might be busy saying Tehillim, davening, learning, doing tshuva, cooking, or maybe nothing. Again, you have to know where you are just to see, where am I? How did I get here? Do I have time now? A few minutes for myself. How do I feel? Am I ready? Am I not? Do I want to think about it or not? Whatever comes up, just the awareness is important, and that's step number 1. And especially when reflecting, it is the last few hours of the year, and looking back on the past year, it's important just to become aware, whether you see positives, you see negatives, just to see, let the awareness just become aware of where you are and how you feel. What comes up when you think about Rosh Hashanah? What comes up when you stop and you look inside, you look at yourself, which reflecting, see, looking back at the years, really looking back to see how I was, maybe a little bit of the world around you, but it's really stopping and seeing, where am I? And how does that feel? Some people have a hard time doing that. And some people who are going through a challenge, many times, like we discussed many times, it's hard to see more than what they're going through. If you're going through a very, very hard challenge, it's probably hard to look back and see the positives. But that's okay. Just the awareness is number one. So let's take a moment, stop for a moment. And you can close your eyes and see where you are, what comes up. Wherever you are now, just getting ready and just thinking of the past. And if there's a word that comes up, you can always put it in the chat. Think of a feeling, a word, a thought, just of how you feel about the moment and looking back. You might have had a great year. Baruch Hashem, thanking Hashem was amazing. Or maybe you went through some challenges. Maybe you feel guilty about certain things. Thinking about the past might make you feel in some interesting mood, for some good, some bad, whatever it is, just becoming aware. And then there are those who are just confused, don't really want to think, don't want to stop. And that's important, just to know, why don't I want to stop? And like we discussed many times, this is important, something you should be doing more than just once at the end of the year. This is something to stop and see what's going on, how do I feel, the thoughts and the things that I focus on. And then to see, what do I want? Why do I look at it that way? Questioning your thoughts. I do have to say again that people will go through challenges. It's very hard. We're going to be focusing tonight on a little bit of maybe challenges and some positives. But for those who are going through a challenge, I just spoke to someone going through something very tough. And they can be in a place where they can even question their whole Hashem. They're like, sometimes I believe, sometimes I don't. And, I try to listen, but in the moment, that's okay. Just to realize where we are. And for those who are going through a very hard challenge, sometimes you can't see positives. Just to be aware of that. Just become aware of that. That's it. Take a deep breath. I'm in a place where it's just hard for me. It's hard for me to believe. But I hope you're not there, but it's just important. Again, you have to know where you are, what comes up when you stop. Very good. So some have positive feelings and some have some challenges. And the truth is, we all have both, like we discussed. The cup is half full, half empty. Wherever we go, there's always two ways to look at it. So just the awareness, let it come in. A quick little exercise, which is fun for me, is to imagine in 2 days, Rosh Hashanah. I don't know if you have plans to go to shul or not. Maybe you do want to go, you can't go, whatever it is. Just imagine. Now you can imagine it. You have your place, your shul. You're ready. Everything is ready. Rosh Hashanah in the morning. You take your machzer, or you go to shul. You have your machzer in shul. You find your place, comfortable, and you're there. You're davening. So, are you ready to imagine it? Here we go. Just close your eyes and see what comes up. Amen. This is it. You and Hashem. Whatever feeling comes up, take it in. Just be aware of it. So before we continue, just to go to discuss the positives and the negatives, just to reflect, what are we really looking for? In a few words, again, we're not going to focus on this the whole night, but in a few words, as a Yid, we believe in Hashem, and we believe that there's nothing happening without Hashem. It's all Hashem, and He's involved in everything. And to believe that He loves me, and He loves you, and He wants to hear from you. That's what He wants. So talk to Him. I know many people have struggles with that. They need things have to be dealt with. But the idea, and again, just be aware of what comes up when you hear me talking about it. If He wants to hear, talk to Him, cry to Him, thank Him. Start seeing Him in your world, seeing how Hashem runs the world, that He's part of it. Not only part of it, it's Him. It's Him. He's the one. We live in a world that covers it up. We live in a world that it looks like that we do something, and what you do, and the consequences, which again, something to discuss, but to believe and to be able to see Hashem in every situation, that could be hard. Many people have a hard time seeing it in their life, seeing Hashem in their life. But that's really what we're looking for. Believing that He's there for us. That's the reason why we're here. And then people who are going through a challenge might ask, why does it make it so hard for me? Which is all good questions. And it's something to discuss. But just in a few minutes, we're here to grow. And usually we grow through challenges. We could grow through gratitude also, but that's work. You have to work on it. You have to be able to sit down and start being grateful, connecting to Hashem and thanking Hashem. But how many people do that? Other people who has been many, many years that they maybe weren't so connected, and when they go through a challenge, it pushes them, and they're like, now they start davening, they start talking to Hashem while they're going through a challenge. So there is two ways to connect. It could be through a challenge or through gratitude. So it's always a good idea to stop and say, you know what, let me connect through gratitude. There's so much to thank, even though I'm going through a challenge, even though it's half empty, but there's always half full. So I can thank and connect and really be there. Versus going through a challenge and talking to Hashem through pain, that's real. It's real. So again, believing in Hashem, trusting in Hashem, believing that He loves you no matter what, and He wants to hear from you. So let's go through a very short meditation, okay? And it's going to guide us through to reflect positives and maybe some challenges. You'll listen to me, whatever comes up, let it come up. Just keep on breathing. And if you want, you can write things down. Always good to be aware of whatever comes up. So here we go. Make yourself comfortable. And if you want, you can close your eyes and allow yourself to be present. Present in this moment. And we're about to go on this journey, a short journey of gratitude and recognizing the blessings and guidance of Hashem over the past year. So let's start by taking 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply, feeling the air, fill your lungs. And exhale slowly, letting go of any tension or distraction. With each breath, allow a sense of calm and peace to wash over you. Good. Another deep breath. Calm all the way in. And exhale, slowly let go of all tension. And one more deep breath. And out. Beautiful. Now I would like you to visualize. Just visualize the past year like a timeline. You start from now, from this very moment, and trace back to the same time last year, just seeing like a straight line the whole year. And think of significant moments, the challenges you faced, the joys you celebrated, and the everyday experiences that made up your year. Just try to go back and see what your year looked like, whatever it is. As you reflect on this timeline, try to pinpoint moments where you felt Hashem's presence. Maybe it was a time when you felt protected, when your davening was answered, you experienced an unexpected blessing. Remember, Hashem's guidance can be in all different places, sometimes grand and sometimes subtle. Just looking back and seeing where you felt Hashem being there with you. Even if you only come up with one of them. But hopefully you have more. For each moment you identify, take a moment to silently express your gratitude. In your heart, you say, thank you, Hashem, for this blessing. Thank you, Hashem, for being there with me. Thank you, Hashem, for being there. I recognize and appreciate your presence in my life. Thank you. Take it in, feel it. Now, let's think of the challenges that we faced. It's important to recognize that even during these times, Hashem was right there with us, guiding, providing strength to be able to persevere. Think of something that you went through that wasn't easy. So any challenge. Silently express gratitude for these challenges. It might be hard, but understanding that they too have purpose in Hashem's plan for us. Thank you, Hashem. Even though I don't understand it, I don't like it. Thank you, Hashem. And that's very powerful, to thank Hashem even for the challenges. And even if it's hard, feel that deep connection with Hashem. Understand that every step of the way, in the moments of joy and challenge, Hashem is there by our side. Embrace the warmth, the love, protection that you feel when you know Hashem is there. And now, as we look forwards to the next year, set a personal intention to recognize and appreciate Hashem's presence in your life each day, whether it's through davening, through reflection, or different things that you connect, whichever way you connect. Just to recognize and appreciate that Hashem is there. And let's commit to nurture our bond with Hashem. And now you can take a deep breath. And ground yourself. Come back into the room in the present moment. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes, carrying with you the feeling of gratitude and connection, that feeling that you had. And to remember that this is something you can do every day, to connect and to feel the love of Hashem. Beautiful. And this is something that really has to be done every day, to stop and thank Hashem for whatever it is. For whatever it is, because we believe that Hashem is the one, and Hashem is the one who does it, and He does want to hear us. He wants to hear us daven. He wants to hear our voice. Talk to Him. If it's something that's hard, tell Him, please help me, make it easier. Help me get out of this. He wants to hear your voice, but it's work, and something that has to be done really every day. There is a Yetzer Hara that doesn't want us to feel connected, doesn't want us to be there, and wants us to be busy, not to connect, not to see the truth. But by stopping just a little bit every day, it could help you for the whole day. So that's about it. That's it for tonight. Now, again, just be aware of what came up. Everybody's in a different place. Everybody has different ideas. You can write them down. If you want, you can share them. Feedback is always welcome. CoachMenachem@gmail.com. Any questions? And the recordings, again, are available on menachembernfeld.com. And I can open it up for questions. If anybody has, you can raise your hand. We can take a minute or two for some questions. If you want to share anything that came up. But I do want to wish everyone Aksiv Achsim Tova, and Hashem should continue guide us, which He has done till now. Not always are we aware, and that's really when we can let go. Once we realize that Hashem runs the world, so we can let go. Yes, we have to do Ishtadlus. He wants us to do what we need to do. But the result is up to Him, and He's taking care of us. He took care of us till now, and He's with us. Something to believe, to connect, and it's work. So thank you very much. And I want to wish everyone a Ksiv Achsim Tova. And Menachem, we'll see you next week. And we'll see where you are in Hashem. Any questions, again, you can put them in the chat or raise your hands, and I'll mute you. Thank you for the positive feedback. Always appreciate it. Here's a good question. Okay, what do I do if I'm too busy and I don't have time? So whatever it is, you don't have time to connect. So first of all, being here, just taking some time and being here tonight, that itself is good. Taking some time off. But many times people are busy. People are, whether it's with kids, cooking, or people are at work, and they have to steal some time to connect. And it is work. It is a lot of work. There's nothing to talk about. But the question is if it's important. If it's important. So you could find the, 5-10 minutes. But more important is even some people come to Rosh Hashanah and they feel they're not ready. They're just not ready. So like what I would say is first be aware of that feeling. Just see how that feels. Why do you feel not ready? And sometimes people feel guilty, which is in a way could be a beautiful feeling because you would love to do more. You would love to spend more time to prepare, which is beautiful. So that's number one, just the awareness. Now, number two, you can only do what you can do. And if you can't do more, then just be aware of that. And yes, to be okay with that. Wherever you are, whatever your arrangements was, where it's going to be, and if you like it or not, very important. It's not always going to work out the way you want, but that's okay. That's part of it, to observe. Just observe. Enjoy the moments that are working out, and observe those that are not working out. Not always can we change it, but it's just to observe, say, wow, I wouldn't mind if it'd be different, but here I am. And we do the best we can. The little bit that we can daven, a little bit that we can talk to Hashem, a little bit that we can connect. And most important is to look at that little bit. To look at that a little bit. And that brings us to the whole topic of when people reflect and do tshuva and they feel guilty, feel bad, which is beautiful. But do you have a list of all the things that you've done the past year, the positives? If you don't have that, then don't go to the negatives. Don't start over there. Start with the positives. We all have many things that we can look back and say, wow, thank you, Hashem, for giving me this chus to do this mitzvah, to do this chesed, to do this, to do that, even though it wasn't perfect. You don't knock yourself. First, find a little bit of positives. If you have the positives, you can walk around with some positives. Then you can go to reflect and see the negatives. The negatives, see things that you're trying to work and get better. But if you don't have positives, then that's your work for this year. To focus on your positives and thank Hashem. Thank Hashem for giving it to you. Thank you very much. That's it for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night. And we'll see you next week in Hashem. Everybody should have a good year.